So, hey guys, it is Pansy here, and I thought I'd do a very quick, well, it's not going to be quick, but I was going to do a vlog basically about my response to the way the community acted to the announcement of the ESL One Casters. Now, I was actually really, I wouldn't say surprised, but I was a little bit let down in the way some of the way the community's actually responded to this. So let me just draw this up right here. So, in case you're unaware, ESL One Cologne will be happening very, very soon. One of the biggest majors in CSGO coming up, kind of the follow-on to Katowice, and the casting lineup is as follows, as well as the hosting, obviously. Hosts will mostly be Redeye, Scoots, and Richard, I can imagine, joining them on the analysis desk. Following that, as casters, as your core, will be myself, Tosspot, Anders, and Semler. So, you know, a fairly well-rounded play-by-play casting setup. And then the biggest criticism was there's no analysis. And that's fair enough. Now, if you've ever seen the previous ESL ones, EMS ones, I know CSGO has grown a lot recently, so maybe people are not so aware. There have been 3 or 4 prior events to this one, not to this caliber. You know, Katowice was pretty huge, but before that it was a little bit smaller, a little bit more toned down. We've always used players, and this is where my frustration comes in. Rather than someone going, you know, are you going to get players again to, you know, do analysis once it gets to the appropriate stages? As a question, would have been awesome, you know. Then we could answer with, yeah, as soon as, you know, X player is free, we'd love to get them on board again. Let's look back to Katowice. We had Nothing, Sean Garris, we had Cadian, we had NBK, we had Heaton. So we already had like 5 additional talent joining us for that one. But it depends obviously on the teams wanting to, for starters. And it also depends on where they are in the tournament. We can't just drag in, you know, Sean Garris or Steele or anyone when they're still playing in the tournament. They got to focus on their game, and that's completely acceptable. Now, for me personally, you know, when I was extremely committed to a game and it was my game and I was very proud of it and, you know, it was my community back some time ago, I would always want the most relevant and applicable analysis as possible. So for me, and I think others begrudgingly will agree, that the most applicable analysis will be someone playing within the tournament itself or just knocked out. And then after that you get ex-players and people maybe didn't go to the event. But then it's like, that's a completely fair argument. But the way people have brought this up, it was like literally, we have shunned the community and we are going to ruin CSGO. And it's absolutely infuriating. And this is the one thread that really got me. I probably wouldn't have done this vlog otherwise. Boycott ESL One stream. Absolutely unbelievable. And the follow-up is, this is a big fuck you towards us the fans from ESL again. Again? Sorry, was Katowice not good enough for you? What do you want? It's like they suddenly didn't get their flavour of ice cream that they love, and nothing else in the world will ever be okay again. It's like suddenly Mum took them out to the ice cream parlour and he couldn't get chocolate mint chip ice cream, and mint ice cream just wasn't good enough. So, you know, that went flying out of the pram. And it's just this silly attitude that some people have. I know that some people aren't fans of people's casting. You know, myself, I actually don't like a lot of other casters' styles of casting. And myself, I'll happily mute a stream, enjoy the content regardless, and then tune back in a little later, see how they're doing, and generally, I'm quite honest with that. I feel that honesty is pretty much the best policy in these instances. And in regards to people saying, you know, they don't like my casting, that's completely fair. And to kind of get around this personally, or not to get around it, but to kind of confront it in essence, I'm going to go through the most applicable to me VOD that I still have available, which are the Katowice ones. Whereas me casting with a player or, you know, another play-by-play caster, and we can go through it together and do analysis on my casting. Now, we can go round by round and point out points where maybe my hype was a little too high, when my pacing was off, when my vocabulary let me down. Maybe I didn't use enough, you know, words that were new and fresh, and I repeated words that were just not that strong and they were weak and it was a little lacking. And we can do that together. I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and then you can put any of your feedback through the comments. And it's just this pitchforky attitude that really does frustrate me as a caster, because I feel that everyone in that lineup is certainly deserving of that position within their role. No one's saying that we're going to be the best analysis in this, because we're not analysis casters. We are play-by-play. We look at, you know, we look to players and, you know, previous professionals to come in and do the analysis when it's time to be able to do so. And I think people need to kind of back down a little bit and calm down, because let's also remind ourselves here, GoTV is going to be just as available as normal. And we do occasionally, and I'm not sure if we're doing it this time, but I hope we are, we do the point of view streams from the team. So let's say Virtus Pro's playing NIP, just tune in and watch one of those two on Twitch TV. If you really don't like the casting, you are in control of the content you consume. That is the brilliance of Twitch TV. You know, if you don't like it, look what I can do when I press the mute, right? So when you press that mute button, it works. And I find it very, very frustrating when people completely overlook this. And I get that some of your favourite casters may not be there, your new analysis that you love. So, for example, Henry G. I'd have loved to have had him at this event, but I believe he's actually doing another stand during Gamescom, so he couldn't do so. And yes, it's partially the industry's fault for never telling you guys the full picture, but that works in every single event you ever see. And it's just a shame that people kind of jump to these conclusions very quickly, and they are so sudden and so instantly kind of offended and so up in arms. And it's like, come on, you should know better by now. We don't treat you like 5-year-olds because you shouldn't need to be treated like 5-year-olds. You should be able to know this after so many instances. But anyway, personally, I hope we do a good job. I'm very genuine in that thought, and I do not want to let anyone down here, especially the CSGO fans. And that's pretty much all I can say. I can show you how much prep I've put in to this point. I can tell you a lot of things, but you know, that's just words. The proof is in the pudding, let's say. So I can only hope that I do this event justice myself as a play-by-play caster, and I do the best job I can within my role. And I hope everyone else does the same. But I wish the community was a little more, not necessarily supportive. I don't need, you know, threads of praise. It'd be nice people to not to kind of jump to these conclusions instantly, because it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a female in esports. I'm kind of used to this kind of like instant, no, she knows nothing. No, she's never played a game in her life. It's like, do you actually know anything about what I do and who I am? Do I need to tell you guys this, or can we just take it at face value and then tell me afterwards? If you don't like what I do as a play-by-play caster, give me feedback. If someone went, John Lauren, I've gone through one of your VODs here, and I actually thought there were some points that you could work on. And obviously it's just personal opinion. That's fine. But I'll still take it on board. When people go to this, I don't like her casting, end. It's just like, give me feedback, guys. Jesus Christ, I'm here to listen. I was one of the first casters to, you know, get on board with CSGO back when it was at Epic LAN I-Series and, you know, the Copenhagen Games before it got to the bigger stages. And, you know, I put up thread after thread on HLTV and on CADRED when it was still a thing. And I was like, give me feedback, you know? And I'll still do that to this day. It doesn't really bother me. I take feedback well, and I happily listen to it. But when people are just jumping on the bandwagon of, I don't like Tosspot because he's a play-by-play caster. When did he say it was anything other than that? God. But still, that's my rant over. At the end of the day, I'm truly looking forward to this event. Regardless of what people say or not, I'm there to do the best I can as a play-by-play caster, and I intend to do the absolute best, you know, for the crowd in front of me and for the people watching at home. And I don't want to let people down, but I just really wish this community would calm down a little bit and kind of lower the pitchforks and just take it as it comes and be excited for something. Because Jesus Christ, I remember the same thread saying I hate CSGO, we'll never get to this sort of plateau, and you gotta love it how the community acts as a whole. But I thought I'd let you know my update on this. My jimmies are certainly being unrustled as we speak because, you know, what can you do? But I will be uploading that video about doing the review of my casting very soon. Probably this week. I think I have a little bit of free time tomorrow before I go live with the show. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought I'd give you guys an update in regards to how that's all going down. But anyway, hopefully you guys can give me some feedback yourselves. Let me know your thoughts on the whole community's feedback just down below. And I'll see you guys hopefully very soon.